Let's talk about another bacteria so I can avoid studying for molecular genetics because it's really boring and I hate it. This is tetanus, and you are probably familiar with tetanus. Hopefully not firsthand, but I'm sure you've heard about it. In addition to probably knowing what tetanus is, you've probably heard that you can get it by stepping on a rusty nail. And that has kind of inadvertently led to a, misconception that rust causes tetanus. And that is not really the case. So the tetanus bacteria is what is known as an obligate anaerobe bacteria, meaning that it cannot survive in the presence of oxygen. It doesn't use oxygen for metabolism, it doesn't use that in any sort of bodily process, so it actually tends to die when there is oxygen present. So tetanus infects the body by getting in through a skin break or an open wound for something caused by, for example, stepping on a nail. However, it is not the nail itself that causes tetanus, it is the wound left behind by the nail. Since tetanus is an obligate anaerobe, that means they cannot survive in oxygen, so if the wound is deep enough, there will grow tetanus in there if it was contaminated by tetanus. So it does not matter if there's rust or not on the nail that you step on, it matters if there is tetanus bacteria present. So if you step on a clean nail that has no rust but you get tetanus bacteria in there, you will get a tetanus infection. However, if you just get a thin, light scrape on the top of your skin by a rusty nail, you will most likely not get tetanus. Now, you still should take care of that because there could be other things, but it in and of itself will not give you tetanus. So basically, a tetanus infection needs a deep, most likely puncture wound from something like a nail or a knife or something, but that wound has to get contaminated by tetanus bacteria in order for you to get a tetanus infection. Now, the wound has to be deep because, again, they're an obligate anaerobe, which means if it's too shallow, there is too much oxygen and so they can't grow there. So tetanus is not spread person to person, however it can be spread through just stuff, so like manure and dust and like any just dirt and stuff. So if you get a wound and it has that dust and stuff on it, you could get tetanus. Or if you get a wound and it's contaminated secondarily because you didn't clean it properly, you didn't cover it, and tetanus can get up in there, tetanus infection. So tetanus produces a toxin like many types of bacteria. It's actually Clostridium tetanus, so they are a type of Clostridium, so related to Clostridium botulinum or botulism, so those two things are related. Botulism also being an obligate anaerobe. So symptoms of tetanus infections often include things like painful muscle spasms or not being able to control your muscles, like contraction and all that, leading to one of the most well-known symptoms, jaw immobility, also known as like lockjaw, as well as other things like trouble swallowing associated with the lockjaw, and things like headaches, nausea, fevers, as well as potentially seizures if not treated. Fortunately, there is a vaccine for this, so if you need to go in, get a tetanus shot, it usually will deal with that right away. So it is pretty unlikely that you will die from a tetanus infection, but still go get it treated because it's not going to be a fun time. But now you know that just stepping on a rusty nail will not in and of itself give you tetanus. The rust does not matter. It's the type of wound and the presence of the bacteria.